Good morning. It's Johnny Sunshine. And it's also Friday, guys. Johnny's got a lot of shit to do today. I like to have a little more room, to plot my course, but everything's kind of coming to a head. I've got a late job today because this homeowner is just a prick. Always scheduling me late in the day so he can, do his life and make me work late on Fridays. So, and I don't want to say, hey, I just can't do it, man. It's outside of my rhythm. So, anyways, first thing I need to do this morning is go put a water heater in. It should take me a couple hours. I should be done by noontime, but then I got to go to this job to back flush a tankless gas water heater. It's gonna cost the guy $200, man. And if he did that every year for 10 years, do the math, guys. That's $4,000. So those tankless water heaters, I just watched a video from Sick Kids. Kid's very, very smart. He's a very smart guy. Could be a brain surgeon, but he's doing plumbing, and he's good at it. But anyways, I look at what he did to that. You'd never have to do that. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and we had an old potbelly furnace in the basement, and you'd go down and add water to it, but we never had to fucking rebuild an aircraft or deconstruct it and put it back together for maintenance on these boilers they're selling. They're high efficiency. They're efficient for the guys making them, and they're making them a lot of money. I just don't like them, guys. I'm an old school guy. I'd rather throw a couple logs in a fireplace, to be honest with you, man. I'm just not into the technology. I watched a Mikey Pipes video yesterday, and I saw how he was going off on this dude who's just fucking trolling him, and but I was impressed with how he fucks around on the computer and how he uses his YouTube channel and all of this stuff that I have no idea about, guys. My shit, the stuff I put up is so basic. I record it and I post it, and I just see what the check is at the end of the month, or the 21st or 22nd. See how much money they sent me. I'm not into all the analytics and all of that, obviously. I speak my mind, and that's all it is. But I'm impressed with these younger guys, man. The shit they know, and their computer skills, and it's just a breeze for them. Yesterday, trying to get this permit for this house, I'm going through on my phone, and I can't see. My fingers are like fucking an Italian sausage, trying to push the fucking buttons. And it's tough for me. I don't like it. I guess that's why they make wives and secretaries, people who are good at that shit. But I've got a lot of stuff to do today, man. I got to get all this repipe stuff together. And this is the first one that I've used PEX on in probably, I would say, 12 years. So when you throw PEX into the mix, that just adds a whole another long list of stuff you need to have. Make sure you have the expansion rings. Make sure you got all the pipe and fittings and straps, and it's just a lot of stuff, and it complicates it a little bit. But I have a box for repipes that I bought, just a little plastic tote box, not little, but pretty big. And I'm going to throw all my stuff for repipes in there. So when I get a repipe, all I have to do is grab, and I'm going to buy another one today. And all I have to do is grab these 2 boxes, and everything that I need will be in there. And I do have an extensive list of material that needs to be on my truck, because I'm doing this repipe on Saturday, tomorrow. And the worst thing that can happen is I don't have what I need because I went to PEX. And I'm using CPVC. I've been using that shit for years. It is, in my opinion, it's way better, way easier than using copper, or it just looks nicer. The fittings are basically the size of copper fittings. I just haven't had any issues, man. And this is another example of copper that has gone bad, that has flooded somebody's house, that has leaked under the slab more than a few times. My buddy Bob's calling me. I can't answer. I'm his GE answer man. He owns his own plumbing business, but he calls me all the time. Hey, John, what's the code on this? Yeah. I'm going to have to start charging him. Anyway, so I'm going to go throw this heater in. I'm going to have the stuff. I've got a nice little kit for flushing water heaters on my truck with its own separate pump, clean bucket, hoses, just everything's in a bucket, ready to go. So that should be, like a lawn chair type thing, unless this guy's like, well, while you're here, I want you to, rebuild every faucet in my house while this is doing that. And I'm just going to say, it ain't happening, bro. Johnny ain't doing 2 jobs at once. And then I need to haul ass back to Gorman's, man, and get all the pipe I need. I'm going to go with some smaller rolls of, the 300-foot rolls, man. They can be a real pain in the ass. So I don't have any more than like a 25-foot run. So out of a 100-foot roll, I'll get four runs with that. I'm going to buy a 100 feet of 3/4 hot and cold, and I'm gonna buy 2 rolls of 1/2 inch hot and cold, and I should be good. Get this thing knocked out, and it'll look nice. We'll try to get some good footage. I'm not bringing the battery operated tools up there, the battery operated fan, the lights that turn off right when you don't need them to. I'm going with all power, old school. I'm going to drag a light through there with a plug in it so I can plug my drill into it. The only thing I'm going to have is a cordless drill, so to put my straps on. But it should be a lot easier. And I've played, like if you're an NFL player or a baseball player or whatever, you run this through your mind. And I've already repiped this house 3 times. I know what to expect in my mind. This particular house, I know what to expect, and hopefully there'll be no snags, and me and this guy can. And he asked me specifically. I told him how much I'd pay him to help me, and he said, well, I said, that's based on 8 hours. He said, well, what if we get it done in 5 hours? I was like, if we get it done in 5 hours, you still get paid for 8, bro. I'm into getting the fuck out of here. And he's a master plumber. He owned his own business for many, many years. But he's a little older than me, and he was talking about his shoulders bad and hit something else. And I was like, oh God, I hope this guy's not broken down. But Johnny's going up in that attic, Jack. That's sad. That's sad from where I used to be. Son of a bitch. Let's show you guys some pictures when Johnny was buff, man. And I never worked out, man. I was just strong. Look at that fucking arm, man. That's fucking 34 inches around. Yeah, I gotta tell you though, guy, the burritos I've been eating, it's like every one of them motherfuckers is hanging over my belt right now. The downside of that Mexican food, man. I heard dogs and cats were low fat, man. Anyways, Johnny's gonna get hot. I'm doing this video on my phone so that I can just post it immediately on YouTube. I don't have to go through the bullshit with my GoPro and uploading it and all this. You know, it's a long process. I mean, it's not that bad, but this is a lot quicker. I just post this video to YouTube. So it's Friday, guys. Hopefully a lot of you are going to get off early today. I watched Steve Lav yesterday, and he's driving around. He's got the windows up in his truck, and it's 50 degrees. And I'm just jealous as fucking hell, man. I am spent from the heat, man. By the time you get to September in Florida, you have fucking had it with the heat, man. It's just a fucking long slog, or whatever they call that. I don't know what that word is, but I'm tired of it, man. I want to wake up in the morning and go sit outside and have my coffee, man. I'm an outside guy. And sitting outside having a nice hot cup of coffee with a sweatshirt on or a jacket is just heaven to me, man. I mean, I'm out here in my fucking underwear, man. I mean, you can't get less clothes on you than I'm wearing, and I'm still sweating like a motherfucker out here, man. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyways, let's get her done, Jackson. So I did draw a little isometric of this, what I want done in these cabinets, because, you know, people get confused in cabinets, man. They don't have a picture in their mind of what they're going to do, you know? I mean, it's simple. You got two pipes coming out of the fucking wall. You got a 50% chance of getting it right. You know what I'm saying? Which one's on the bottom, which one's on the top, so it looks professional and clean. Most of the time they get it shit backwards, man. You know, where it's just like, how did you end up there from two pipes coming out of the side of a cabinet? So I draw the shit out, you know, instead of bringing the holes coming out of the side wall where the drop comes in, instead of having them even, you got to offset one high, you know, and you got to make sure it's the right one. So that then you can run them pipes down around the cabinet and put your shutoff valves on, man. It's pretty simple. But people don't draw it out in their mind. So I have isometric paper, little isometric pad, and I drew a fucking isometric of what I'm looking for, man. This is how I want it done, guys. And that's just how Johnny rolls, Jackson. It's pretty simple, and I look at each thing and I say, wow, even if you slept for a half hour, it should only take you a fucking hour to do that. So this is what I drew last night, hot and cold, for this job, and I know what I need for manifolds up at the top. You guys can't see all this, but it's, you know, where hammer arresters need to be. And I'm just going to hand this to the guy because I got this in my head. But I want to hand this to this guy and say, this is how I want it done, guy. Follow these directions. I want these hammer arresters where I got them drawn in here. I want you to do the hose bibs and the water heater the way I have it drawn in here. And if you do that, and I've pulled my fittings and everything using this drawing, We're going to have everything we need. We're not going to get into using extra fittings. It's pretty simple. I mean, if you look at this and count up the fittings, it's not a whole lot of shit. But, you know, you're going in, you're buying a bag of this, a bag of that, a bag of this, a bag of that, and you end up using a couple handfuls of fittings. So, it's critical to think through these jobs, man. And we'll get it done. I'm going to go buy brand new drop cloths because the ones I have, the runners, I use the 4 foot by 15 foot runners, and they're nice working in people's houses. The first thing you do is put the fucking drop cloths down. When you get in there, blow your holes, your accesses. You know, I've got a 6-inch hole saw, and I'm just going to use that. I'm going to drill the holes. It's the easiest way to get an access in a cabinet. I know the oscillating tool, people like them. They make a lot of fucking noise. And it's kind of slow, the process going through, especially these old cabinets. It's a 3/4 inch side, you know. So I'm going to use my 6-inch hole saw and make it quick. I got to drill a hole. There's an access for the tub. I got to drill a hole in 2 cabinets with the 6-inch thing. I got to pop 2 7/8 holes in the cabinet for the toilets, and then a 12 by 12 access where the 3/4 lines come down. So it's not a whole lot of shit, and then I can get up there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna strap the pipes where they go through the plate up the top. I'm going to do that after the fact. I'm going to leave those pipes so that the guy on the ground can push them up and down. And then when I go back up to check everything, which I'm going to put a gauge on it more than my eye, but I'm going to go back up and then just put some Mickey Mouse straps up on the top where they go down through the top plates. It'll take me 5 minutes, and that's how Johnny's going to do it. I have a plan, a game plan. And my goal is to get this thing done in 8 hours with no fucking problems. You know what I mean? The first one we did, we put a lot of fucking hours in there, man. It shouldn't have taken that long. We did 2 days worth of work in fucking 1 day with the hours. We were there till almost 10 o'clock the first day. I mean, that's just not right. So we're gonna try to give it a fucking whirl tomorrow. And the best thing is really this guy Bob who just called me, he may give me his helper. That's probably what he was calling me about. And if I have a gopher on the job with us, somebody who doesn't really know plumbing, but I've got my walkie-talkie, I bought a set of radios, and I'll be able to communicate. If I would love to have a guy for a couple $100 just to go for somebody who doesn't even know plumbing but can go and get me stuff. You know what I mean? I can call him up and say, hey, I need this, you know. So 3 guys is optimal. A helper, 2 master plumbers, and it would be a breeze to do this. But the main thing is to have everything you need to do the job. And that falls back on the checklist, a repipe checklist. And I've got my repipe checklist here. It's probably 50 items, and I just need to go through and make sure I have that stuff on my truck, man. And it should be easy. That's it. All right, guys, I got to get rolling. Let's see what time it is. What time is it? It's 8:44. Holy fuck, I gotta go, Joe. Gotta go get a water heater and some basic shit to go do this thing, and I'm gonna post this, and then look at that fucking custom nostril. It kind of, if I had a Spark Air, you know, it would look fucking great, because that's what that nostril reminds me of. Sparks Air. Yeah. Have a great day.